hopefully I can do this place justice. Let's see. What's cracking, my fellow travelers? Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Huayhuash trek, which I'm probably not pronouncing correctly, but that doesn't really matter because all you need to know is that this shit is dope. Chances are you've probably never heard of this trek before because unfortunately it doesn't get as much love as the other major hikes located in South America. You know, the ones that are known for being home of a famous landmark that belongs to a dead civilization or share the name of a popular clothing brand. Wait a minute. You're telling me that there's actually a place out there called Patagonia? Well, that's cool. Yeah. But just because everybody knows about something doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. Now, I'm not trying to say that Machu Picchu or Patagonia suck, because they don't. It's just that the Huayhuash trek is in a league of its own here. One of the things that makes the Huayhuash trek so special for me is the feeling of isolation. In the 10 days that I spent out there, it was very rare for me to run into anybody on the trail, like at all. On a popular trek like the W in Patagonia or the Salcantay trek to Machu Picchu though, the trails are just constantly packed and there's people everywhere. And it's borderline impossible to enjoy any of this scenery without like a symphony of DSLR shutters going off in the background. Whereas the Huayhuash trek, there's just like no one around at all. And one of the reasons I like spending time alone in nature is because I'm a bit of an introvert, and I've found while traveling that if I spend too much time in a hectic city or crazy hostels constantly socializing with people, I find that super exhausting. So finding activities where I can spend some time away from people, enjoying some peace and quiet, those are really important for me because they help me maintain my sanity. Of course, I understand that the average person isn't usually trying to go on a multi-day trek because it's an opportunity to avoid unwanted human interaction. Usually people are just trying to see some cool shit. And if I'm being perfectly honest, the reason I wanted to go on this trek in the first place is because I saw pictures of it on Instagram and I was just like, yo, that shit looks dope. And guess what? That shit is dope. The scenery that you're rewarded with makes all the effort and long days of trekking totally worth it. Like there was times when I would take a break, even if I wasn't tired, just to soak in the views of the snow-tipped mountains in the background. There's also a multitude of glacial lakes that you can go swimming in, which is super cold, but also really refreshing. And I also had some funny encounters on the trail, like I stumbled across these old Peruvian ladies just herding a shit ton of sheep in the middle of nowhere. And there was also a stray dog that became my trekking buddy for a couple days. This hike just has so much character that makes it stand out in my memory that I have no problem that saying in my 6 months in South America, the 10 best days of this trip were spent on the Huayhuash trek. So what's the catch? Because there's always a catch, right? Well, it's important to note that the weather here is super inconsistent. Like on my 10-day trek, I had 5 days of awesome weather and then 5 days of less than ideal weather. Obviously, the bad weather didn't ruin my experience at all, but it's important to note that there were times when thick fog covered all the scenery, and there was even one instance when I found myself huddled underneath a rock for a couple hours, waiting out a hailstorm. And yeah, that did suck, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Sometimes Mother Nature just does what she wants, you know? The only other thing that could potentially hinder your enjoyment of this trek is the altitude, but that's only if you fail to take it into consideration. I cannot stress how important it is to allow your lungs time to adjust to the high elevation. I just met so many people in Peru that were just like, hey guys, I just flew into Peru today and I have a big hike tomorrow. Yeah, good luck with that hike, buddy, because the side effects of poor judgment mixed with high elevation, yeah, it's not pretty. Honestly, this is probably one of the reasons why this trek isn't full of people. The elevation just makes it less accessible. I mean, not only is it an 8 to 10 day trek, but you also have to allow time to climatize. And that's sacrificing a lot of time just for one activity. And apparently, not too many people are willing to make that sacrifice. Oh well, their loss. So final thoughts, well, if you pass up the Huayhuash trek while in Peru, I hate to say it, but you messed up. South America is a beautiful part of the world that has plenty of awesome outdoor activities to offer, but this trek is the cream of the crop, and it should be an essential part of any traveler's itinerary. Alright? Well, that's going to do it for me today, and remember, until next time, give your lungs plenty of time to adjust to the altitude, because altitude sickness pills alone, they won't save you. Alright?